everybody, it's Andy from Beyond Guitar, and today I have a special request. So I have a student that's working on the intervals by ear. And so here we go. We're going to figure out the intervals of the major scale by ear, and then all the intervals by ear. So if you're on YouTube or Twitch, you can see some sheet music on the screen, and if you're on TikTok, you can just listen. Here we go. So let's just start with the C major scale, everybody. Okay, the fundamental thing to know is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Everybody's heard that before. That's the major scale. Okay, so perhaps I will play the first note, C, and then maybe I'll play another C. If I play the same note twice, that's called a unison. Okay, that's the same note on two different strings. That's called a unison. Okay, and then if I play a C and a D, that's called a second. And if I play a C and an E, that's called a third. And if I play a C and an F, that's called a fourth. And if I play a C and a G, that's called a fifth. And if I play a C and an E, that's called a sixth. And if I play a C and a B, that's called a seventh. And then here I am on the final one, C and C at the same time. And that is, of course, an octave. Okay, you know what? I'm going to play one of those while you can't see my fingers. All right? Put my hand off the screen. Okay, can you see my fingers? Good. Okay. I will play a random interval. You guess. Ready? Here we go. First, I'll play them separately, and then I'll play them together. If you guessed fifth, you're correct. Keep going. The only way to get this game is to just keep guessing and guessing and guessing, and then eventually you know all the sounds. Here we go. What's this? If you guessed third, you're correct. What's this interval? Major seventh. That's a seventh. What's this interval? That interval is a second. What's this interval? If you guessed octave, you are correct. Okay, if you're struggling with this, then the question is, how can you remember all these? Okay, there's different songs, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the first two notes are an octave. What about some other songs? Like if I play a sixth, My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. That's a sixth, okay? What about a fourth? Here comes the bride. Okay, you can remember those different sounds. And so, like the fifth is like the first note of Star Wars. Anyway, so you can think of different songs for these different intervals. That's how I remember them. Okay, keep going. All right, my hand is off the screen. Keep guessing. All right, what's this one? If you said unison, you are correct. All right, that was a C and then another C. I just played the same note twice. Okay, guess this one. If you guessed My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean, you're right. That was a sixth. Okay, what is this note? That was a seventh. Okay, what song starts on that sound? Remember the old 1980s Christopher Reeve Superman movies? And the soundtrack was like, it started on that particular interval. So when I hear a seventh, I just think of Superman. Okay, keep going. All right, what's this interval? Here we go. That's a fourth. If you heard, "Here comes the bride," then you are correct. Okay, what's this interval? If you can tell, it's pretty dissonant, and the notes kind of sound like they're close together. Okay, that's a C and a D together. That's a second. Keep going. All right, what's this interval? If you hear a power chord, the basic chord of rock music, power chord, then you're right. That's a fifth, okay? A fifth. Keep guessing. What's this interval? Okay, you can tell it's pretty dissonant. And if you try to sing it, you could feel inside your throat that you have to make a big jump, okay? So, la, la. That's a big leap for the human voice, you know? So if you hum the notes, you can kind of get the feel of la, la. That's a huge leap, okay? Those aren't close together. All right, that's a seventh. That was a seventh. Let's do a few more and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, keep guessing. What is this interval? That is a third. What's that Johnny Cash song that starts like that? Anyways, Folsom Prison Blues starts on those two notes, major third. Okay, keep guessing. All right, what is this note? That is a fourth. What is this note? That is a sixth. What is this note? That is a unison. I played the same note twice. Okay, guess the next one. The answer is, that's an octave. Guess this one. That's a second. Guess this one. That's a fifth. Guess this one. That's a third. Okay, let's continue on to the next step here. So, the next step is, what about all the other intervals? Because so far we just did the intervals of the major scale. And so, what else is there? Okay, we could do the chromatic intervals. We could do all the intervals that exist. All right, so you got a unison, you got a half step, that's called a minor second, you got a whole step, that's a major second, you got 3 half steps, that's a minor third, you got 4 half steps, that's a major third, you got 5 half steps, it's 4 letters of the alphabet, that's why we call it a fourth. Okay, and then you have an augmented fourth, or could be a diminished fifth. Then you have what's called a perfect fifth. Minor sixth. Major sixth. Minor seventh. Major seventh. And finally octave. Okay, we're going to do all of those intervals. There are 12 possibilities because there are 12 notes in music. So here we go. I'll just play a random one. You guess. Ready, set, go. Helps to sing it, so just hum the notes. La, la. How far did you jump? That's a minor third. What's this note? That is a augmented fourth or diminished fifth. Are there any songs that start on those notes? The Simpsons. Yeah, totally. The Simpsons. First 2 notes. That's how you can remember it. Or you can just remember that's the most dissonant interval. You know, when you hear those 2 notes, it's hard to get more dissonant than an augmented fourth. That's pretty dissonant, so you could learn to recognize that sound right away. Okay, keep going. Okay, what's this note? Okay, they're pretty far apart, right? That is a minor seventh. What's this interval? That is a minor second. Okay, that one has a shake to it. It's like if you have pictures hanging on your wall, they might start to rattle because there's like a wah, 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 wah happening there. You know, it's very dissonant because the notes are next door neighbors. They're a half step apart. Those are pretty dissonant, okay? Minor second is very dissonant. Okay, keep going. All right, what is this interval? I'll go faster, okay? That's a major sixth. What's this interval? That's a minor sixth. What's this interval? That's a minor third. What's this interval? That's a perfect fourth. What's this interval? That's an octave. What's this interval? That is a unison. What is this interval? That is an augmented fourth, or you could also say diminished fifth. Keep going. What's this interval? Even though that's dissonant, that is actually called a major second. Okay? Major second is this. Minor second is this. So they're both dissonant. Okay, ready? Keep going. What is this interval? That is a minor sixth. What is this interval? That is a perfect fifth. What is this interval? That is a major third. What is this interval? That's a major sixth. Okay, let's do the very final bit of this video, which is keep guessing more intervals. However, smash the button. Okay, with a distortion sound, with a rock sound. Okay, I actually think this helps because if it's a consonant interval, like a perfect fifth, you're going to be able to recognize that that is a consonant sound. Okay, if it's a dissonant sound, like say minor second, you're going to hear the amp go wah, 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 and so that's a clue. All right, here we go. So don't look at my fingers. All right, I play a random interval. You guess. Here we go. That is an octave. What's this interval? The answer is perfect fourth. What's this interval? The answer is perfect fifth. What's this interval? The answer is minor third. What's this interval? The answer is minor seventh. What is this interval? You hear how the amp is going like that? That's a minor second. Okay, what's this interval? You hear how the amp is going like that? That's a major seventh. Okay, what is this note? That is a unison. What is this note? That is a major third. What is this note? Okay, hopefully you can tell that's super dissonant. That's a augmented fourth. What's this note? That's a major seventh. What's this note? That is a major major sixth. What is this note? That's a minor sixth. What's this note? That's a minor third. What's this note? That's a perfect fourth. What's this note? That's a perfect fifth. What's this note? That is a minor second. What's this note? That's a major sixth. What's this note? That's a major second. What's this note? That's an octave. Okay, cool. So we reached about 21 minutes or so in this video, and so if your brain's full, that's okay. Take a break and then watch this video again tomorrow and keep guessing. Eventually you can learn to recognize all those sounds just because you remember how they sound. So just keep trying. And tomorrow maybe I'll make another video just like this, so make sure you subscribe. Drop a little heart there for me. And I'll see you in tomorrow's live video. Thanks everybody. I'm Andy from Beyond Guitar. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.